Hi, my name is Melchizedek Levine, and I want to have a conversation about the discussion questions that you posed, the discussion question that you posed. You did ask what is psychopathology, and that's the study of mental behaviors. As I was reading in depth about the Bible's view on mental illness, it does view deviant behavior um, as sinful and ungodly and defiant of God's will. Now, it also states that people are the way they are. Diseases, schizophrenia, bipolar, things of that nature, they are the way they are as a derivative, as being derived or deriving from doing wrong or being in a wrongful state or allowing the devil to use them, lack of a better word, or um, basically allowing the devil to fuel them. That these things like murder and adultery and stealing, these things are behaviors, learned behaviors. Um, and the other things, abnormalities like schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, bipolar, and these things are fueled from lack of faith and lack of meditation and lack of prayer, um, and it can be caused by demons and the affiliation of just being in the company of bad company. Um, the Bible also mentions that how Jesus heals people, and he was considered people who were considered mentally ill. They said that Jesus could recognize the demonic takeover or the demonic force within a person, and he cast them out. So the Christian worldview of mental illness, it just basically talks about how these things manifest from sin. The secular worldview, basically, it talks about abnormality being having a biological problem, if that makes sense, like a chemical makeup, a breakdown of chemical makeup, or something that is not there wholly. And there are some things that are just not coordinating and that are not functioning as a whole. It can involve lack of comprehension, just doing things in society that are causing bad behavior. The problem with the secular views that I find, when I was reading this article by let's see, it was by Baggett and Baggett. And the name of the book is Engaging a Christian Worldview. And they talk about the different factors that can change the secular view, and how they can change and influence the correction of abnormalities. They state that nurturing factors, loving someone, and being supportive, and these things can break down those factors. And I do agree with that to a certain extent. Some things are innate, when we're born with schizophrenia, bipolar, but there are some things like anxiety and depression that can be a learned behavior, or a behavior that's derived from lack of, or being around certain people, or not having certain support, and just not knowing how to cope with certain situations. So I do agree with that. The Bible, 1 Peter 5:6 states that it says that God states, cast all of your anxieties onto him because he cares for you. I do think that ties in with the Christian worldview of abnormalities. It supports their vision and their theory, because if you have that faith, cast those anxieties and worries onto God, and he'll help you through it. I know it's easier said than done, so that's why your environment plays heavily on the things you do and how you feel and the things that you do think. So I will be putting those in the reference, the King James Version, 1 Peter 5:6. and also the book by Beckett, The Christian Worldview. Let's see, experience of engaging a Christian worldview. So those are my two references at the end of this reference, at the end of this discussion. Yeah, that's pretty much my thought and my take on it. So if you have any questions, let me know.